All right. Bismillah, sallallahu. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to our podcast, Teens, Tech, and AI. Today, we have our wonderful team with us here today. I'll let him introduce himself. Shazeb, you want to do that?
Yeah, so my name is Shazeb. I'm a junior in high school and I'm really into like AI and technology and all that.
Okay. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hmm.
So I guess I'll just shoot us off and get us started on this conversation on this chat. Sort of like Shazeb, can you tell us even a bit more into how you got into being interested in tech, even before AI itself? What was your intro to tech?
Yeah, so when I was in elementary school, I started playing video games like Minecraft and Fortnite. And I was
Hmm.
also always like really interesting about like how they were made and how
Hmm.
like the technology can run the games.
Hmm.
So as I got older, like into middle school, I tried
Hmm.
learning more about like coding. Wanted to
Hmm.
make like my own games with in Python, like Snake, to get
Hmm.
like some sort of like experience. And then as I got older, I started learning how to like build things, like building computers and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And then once I found out about AI as well, like ChatGPT, started using that to help me with school stuff, but then also to help me learn new things. It helped me learn a little bit of Java when I was younger.
Hmm. So that's again very interesting, right? You said when you were in elementary school, you started playing these games and stuff. How did you even get into playing games? As a kid, I'm sure there was a lot of things you could have done. How was
Yeah,
games?
mostly it was my friends who got me to play. They wanted to play with me, wanted me to see what the game was like.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I see. That's super interesting then. So walk me through then. How did that period look like for you? Was it like you finish school, then you come home, you play these games, you have these friends online, you go to their homes? How did that really work like?
Yeah, so it started with like play dates at my friend's house and we'd play on his Nintendo. And
Hmm.
then eventually I got like interested enough that I asked my parents to get me one. And then I started playing the game on my own and I
Hmm.
started getting better. And then every once in a while I'd play with my friends as like a maybe like at a birthday party, we'd all play together. We'd bring our devices and play together.
Hmm. I see. So looking back now, how long ago was all of this for you?
I think like 10 years ago I
Hmm.
started.
I
Yeah,
see. I see.
first
Interesting.
or second grade.
Okay, so then you moved from those games. What sort of made you think okay, now I've known how to play these games, let me make my own?
Yeah, well, I was always like, what does it take to build a game like this? How
Hmm.
long does it take to build a game like this? Why make the game like this?
Hmm.
Now I always want to understand like the thought process behind that to make
Hmm.
and like try making my own game as well.
Mm. So how did you come up with this thought? Right? Like if you go back and think about it, maybe a lot of people are playing these games and not thinking of these questions. Like how were you able to get into asking these questions?
Well, it was kind of like I was really curious at the time too. Like I was like, it felt like magic to me.
Hmm.
I want to know the magician's secret.
Interesting. So then something felt like magic and then you got curious. So walk us through the steps then. What did you start doing after that period then?
Yeah, so I asked my dad and I asked some of my friends' parents as well, like how do you make stuff like this? I think
Hmm.
the first like level of coding that I did was JavaScript. I
Okay.
found like this book at the library was building like this really like simple interactive game with JavaScript where you have a ninja and a robot, and
Okay.
every time you press the space bar, the
Hmm.
ninja jumps in the air, and the
Hmm.
goal is for the ninja to not get hit by the robots.
Uh-huh.
And so that's how I started like making like code and building games. And then eventually I started learning about other things as I got older. Like
Hmm.
I learned about what machine learning was, and I thought it
Hmm.
was really cool. I have a friend who made
Hmm.
this AI that
Hmm.
you feed it a CT scan and it can detect where cancer will like develop in the liver, and that also made me like really interested.
Interesting. So, well, again, I'm trying to even piece all of it back from the beginning. You went to the library and you found this book, right? Like there was maybe a million books in the library. How did you get to
Yeah.
finding this JavaScript book about a ninja and a robot?
Well, I was looking for books online and I found it on like the library's webpage. And
Mm-hmm.
so we reserved it and then I picked it up from there.
Interesting. So walk me through then, you picked it up, you got home. How was that process of even converting everything in that book into something you want, like that became something on your computer?
Well, I was young at the time, so it was pretty hard. I think it took me like a good half an hour probably to get my computer set up. I had to
Mm-hmm.
get help from my dad. And
Mm-hmm.
then as I went through the book, there
Yes.
were like parts of the code that I didn't understand. I would ask my dad for help on that as well.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So it seems to me like your dad and his friends and your friends were like the main support that you had at the beginning. Does that
Yeah,
sound right?
yes. Yeah.
I so if you wanted to like repeat this process for maybe when you have your own kids or for like your younger siblings, how would you set up that beginning step for them to be as maybe like as lucky as you were at that initial phase?
I'd get them to like start an activity that gets them to ask the same kind of questions that I was asking. Like
Mm,
I can start playing video games, maybe
mm-hmm,
watching videos of people like creating stuff,
mm-hmm,
stuff like that. Yeah.
I see. That's super interesting then. Okay, so then let's pick it up from there. You started, then you made those games. Talk to us about like how many of those games did you even make?
I made two. I made the ninja game and then I
Mm,
made a snake game as well.
I see.
And
So,
the snake game I used Python to make it. That was like later in middle school when I
mm,
had access to AI.
oh, I see. Okay. So then AI came in and was able to help you make the snake game.
Yeah.
Okay. So then before that, there was just the ninja game and like the robot game.
Yeah.
I see. So what happened after you made the first game? Did you show it to your friends? Did you play it? What happened after that period? What was that?
I played it. I showed it to my family, not my
Mm-hmm.
friends, but it was an interesting learning experience, but at the time, it didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like something that I wanted to do. It was just something I was curious about. And once
Hmm.
I actually got exposure to like what it was to do it, I didn't really feel like doing it until as I got when I got older, I realized
Mm-hmm.
there's like different levels to this, and I chose like the easiest level, essentially.
Interesting. So what do you mean like you didn't like feel like that is what you were interested in again? What happened? What do you mean?
Like Well, if it felt like boring, like reading along with the book and just
Mm-hmm.
copy and pasting whatever the book was telling you to copy and paste instead of using your own imagination and like your own thought process to create the code.
Interesting. So then you're making the game, but even while making the game, you're thinking like you wanted to do something more than just copying and pasting what the book had.
Yeah, yeah.
So then, like, what were you thinking about? What were you thinking you would get? Like beyond this game, what else then was like not boring for you?
Well, it was a good learning experience too. I had fun learning. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really have fun like actually coding, but it was fun to learn
Mm-hmm.
how like these things work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then, like, I mean, what do you mean? Like, it was fun learning? What does fun learning something mean to you back then?
I had like a good time. It was something I looked forward to doing when I got home. I'd
Mm-hmm.
spend a lot of time on it. The only times I'd take break was like to eat or like
Mm-hmm.
to get some fresh air. And
Mm-hmm.
then whenever I had a chance, I'd always go back and like try debugging. I wanted to get the code perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like when I finished, I realized it wasn't it wasn't as fun as it felt at the end, but it was fun to learn because I looked forward to learning it.
I see. So how long did this whole process take you from getting the book in the library and getting like a polished product out?
It took me like 2 or 3 days. It was
Oh,
really simple, really short code.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I see. And this was in JavaScript.
yeah,
Okay. So then you go into the library, you pick the book, you come out, you have the game, you've made the game. Now you're out of the game, like mode of the game. What then happens next for you? Because I think it's still like a long period before your second game, right?
yeah. So well, the next I took a break from coding after that for a couple of years, and then
Mm-hmm.
once I after elementary school, once
Mm-hmm.
I got into middle school, COVID happened, so I was
Mm-hmm.
spending more time online. I
Mm-hmm.
thought if I'm already on a computer, I might as well learn how the computer works. And
Mm-hmm.
so I started doing research on like building desktop PCs and like graphics cards and CPUs and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
then by the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
I had like a list of parts that I wanted to buy to build my own PC, but
Mm-hmm.
I was never able to do that. I just
Mm-hmm.
ended up buying a pre-built PC, but I
Mm-hmm.
still like learned how the parts were working and
Mm-hmm.
how each one part supports another to create like a whole computer.
I see. So you're saying then that after the love of the building the game, the next love was. So what do you even mean by like you spent some time like away from like coding? Did you make that decision? Things just happened. What else were you doing then?
Yeah, well, I made the decision to stop coding because I was really young at the time. It wasn't like super thrilling for me, you know? And
Hmm.
so I was like, I don't want to do this right now. Maybe in the
Mm-hmm.
future it'll come up when it comes up. Or maybe I'll
I
be
see.
interested again.
I see. So then what did you replace that with then?
Just playing the video games that I already knew,
I see.
Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox.
So then like looking back at those games, like how much time did you think like you how good did you get with playing the games?
I became pretty good actually. There were some games they had ranked modes. I was able to reach like some high ranks in there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sort of like what was fascinating about playing the games for you then?
It was it was something to do with my free time. It
Mm-hmm.
was a good like bonding. It was like a good activity to bond with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'd play with my little brother too. It was a good bonding experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it's like, well, I could take a break from it. It helped me relax. It took my mind off of like homework and stress and stuff.
I see. So then, but I guess like there could be like multiple things that could like do the same thing for you. Why was game that thing for you? Or like did you try even other things?
I tried other things. I tried like reading, I tried biking, but
Mm-hmm.
video games is like the easiest because I didn't have to leave the home and everything that I was already doing was on my
Mm-hmm.
computer. I didn't have to like move from my room to somewhere else. I could
Hmm.
just close everything on my computer and open up the game. It's like the most convenient thing.
I see. I see. I see. Interesting that. Okay. Then now what part of that led you to saying like I want to start like doing hardware, building my own like computers and stuff like that? How did you get into that space?
So there was a time in COVID, I tried playing a game on this old computer I have, and it was
Mm-hmm.
super laggy. And so I asked my dad, I was like, why is it really laggy? And he
Mm-hmm.
said, it's probably because the computer isn't strong enough to support the game. So I was like, that's weird. I thought all computers ran the same. So I started
Mm-hmm.
doing research on like why the computer wasn't running it properly or why it was laggy. Then I
Mm-hmm.
found out that the computer I was using was like it had really outdated parts
Mm-hmm.
that compared to what the game recommended. And
Mm-hmm.
so I did research on like the computer I had an integrated graphics card in the CPU. And
Mm-hmm.
so I researched what a graphics card was, and that's how I found out about NVIDIA. And
Mm-hmm.
then I researched like different types of computers, like laptops versus desktops. And then
Mm-hmm.
I found out desktops are better for running games, laptops are better for like productivity. And then
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff led me to do more research on about hardware. And that's how I was like able to learn why like some computers are different than others and why hardware is important.
Interesting. So what was like your first learning from this process? Like what type of like GP CPUs and stuff? What did you even just learn basically from like your first research?
Yeah, so what I learned was that there's some CPUs, they
Yes.
have like different functions. Like there's CPUs out there that are made for like data centers, and then there's CPUs made for gaming computers.
Mm-hmm.
There's different types of RAM to
Mm-hmm.
run like different games. Like different games
Mm-hmm.
require different amounts of memory, and
Mm-hmm.
then also like the SSD versus hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
SSD has faster speeds,
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of stuff like really fascinating. There's like so many small complex things that build this one giant thing.
Hmm. Interesting. So then you look at all of these things. How did you then move into like buying or even like buying pre-built one or deciding even to build your own? What was that next phase like?
There were so after COVID, like after we got back into school, my
Mm-hmm.
friends started playing these games that were much heavier on computers. I couldn't run them on like my old laptop. And
Mm-hmm.
so I did research. I had like a whole list of parts and where to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out to like around $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
but I ended up finding a pre-built PC with almost the same specs for like $1,200. So I ended up getting a pre-built, but I
Mm-hmm.
did do like some mods on it. What do you call it? I tuned the graphics card. I overclocked it. Overclocked
Mm-hmm.
the graphics card.
Mm-hmm.
I cleaned the fans. I gave it more airflow. And then I
Mm-hmm.
also installed like my own LED lights.
Interesting. So then you talked about a lot of these things like you tuned it, you overclocked it, and all of that. And if somebody's just listening to this and first time and they're just saying like, what is all of this? What do you mean by like all of those things?
Yeah, so by overclocking your graphics card basically means like you're telling the graphics card to run at this certain rate to give you its maximum output instead of
Mm,
just what it's set to do from the factory. It's
mhm,
kind of like if you know what tuning a car is,
mhm,
it's giving the car a program to make it as fast as possible or to consume as little gas as possible,
mhm.
instead of what the factory is giving you.
I see. Interesting. And so now you've looked at games, you've tried to build yours. Now you think these games can be faster. Now you're building a machine to make them even go faster for you. What then happens after you get this machine now?
After I spent a lot of time playing video games,
Mm-hmm,
and then I also had access to AI, so I was like, maybe I can use AI to help me build a game. And that's
mm-hmm.
where I started building my Python game for Snake.
Interesting. Okay, then move me into how you even came into AI then. So now you've had these two levels now. How did AI come into the space?
Yeah, so it was coming after online school. Online school is super easy. You could do the homework, whatever you want, search up the answers. The teacher wouldn't know. But
Mm-hmm,
coming in back to in person was much
mm-hmm,
harder. You had like these reading assignments that you had to do,
mm-hmm,
essays. So I was like, I was still used to like doing as little work as possible to finish my homework. So I was like, what can I use to write my essays for me or to like help me improve my essays? And
mm-hmm,
then that's where I found out about ChatGPT. One of my friends told me about it. So
mm-hmm,
I tested it out. It gave me a really good essay, and I ended up getting like a 90 on that one. And
mm-hmm.
then ever since then, I've been using AI for everything after I found out its uses.
Interesting. So walk me through like beyond like essays, beyond stuff for school. How did that progression happen? Your friend tells you use it for this assignment. Then what happens after that?
Yeah, so I used it mainly for school for a couple months, and then
Mm-hmm,
after that, I was like, what other uses can I use the ChatGPT for? And
mm-hmm,
so I asked it, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? It was like,
mm-hmm,
yes, I can do it. Would you like me to give you an example? And
mm-hmm,
then that's when I realized like I can do whatever I wanted with AI
mm-hmm,
as long as and I can get like I can have it fine tune it for me to
mm-hmm,
whatever I like. And that's where I figured out I could use it for coding,
mm-hmm,
for school, designing like websites or posters.
mm-hmm. So interesting. You just asked it and you found that out on your own with the AI system.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that takes you back into can I make a new game now? And that is what this you talk about the snake game.
Yeah.
So how was
So
the process of making that?
so it was a little bit confusing at the beginning because I still didn't know how to use the code from the AI. And
Mm-hmm,
also I didn't know how to code like in general. Like when I used JavaScript, I did everything in a notepad. This
mm-hmm,
time it was like AI was telling me like, "Oh, you gotta install VS Code." I was like,
mm-hmm,
"What's VS Code?" So I had to install that. Then I had to
mm-hmm,
download the Python onto my computer as well. I didn't have to do that for JavaScript.
mm-hmm,
And so it felt like complex in the beginning, but
mm-hmm.
then after a bit, I got the game to run and I was able to like use AI to help me debug the code as well.
Interesting. So talk to me about then the process. You've installed VS Code, you installed Python, things are still a bit like unclear and complex. How long did that take you? How was the process like a day or two, or how long did it take you to get this game running?
Yeah, so this one took me about a week.
Mm-hmm,
I used AI to debug really
mm-hmm,
only at the end because I still wanted to learn Python. So I
mm-hmm,
tried doing as much debugging as I could on my own.
mm-hmm,
I was searching up online like beginner's Python code, or I'd
mm-hmm,
search up what does this error mean? And using like answers that I got from online, not from AI. That's how
mm-hmm,
I like debug the code. And then
Mm-hmm.
At the very end, there's like this one really big bug that
Mm-hmm.
I had AI fix for me.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it was like the AI tried creating its own function that it never like classified or declared.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. So interesting. Then, how did you decide that I will do this debugging and stuff on my own and not just take like the route of what AI was giving you?
Well, this Python is like a little more complex. You can build a lot more with Python than you can with JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me realize like there's different levels to coding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, maybe this is more interesting than I thought it was in the beginning. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's how I got into it more.
I see. So even Python and like you did JavaScript before, how did you come across Python itself then?
Well, my friend told me about it. He also did the same thing. He made his own snake game. He was showing it to
Oh,
me. And I was like,
in-
oh, this is really cool. I want to make something like that as well.
I see. So your friend shows you his own snake game, and then that inspires you to go make your own snake game in the same way he has done that.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Then walk me through now. You debug, you spend time, you spend a week. How was your understanding of Python after that 1 week? What happened with the game?
My understanding got better. I became better at debugging, but I still wasn't as good at like writing the code. And
Mm-hmm.
then after the game, I stopped doing coding projects as much, but I
Mm-hmm.
still used AI to learn like
Mm-hmm.
new skill sets.
Hmm, I see. Okay, then talk to me about like what you mean by you use AI to learn. What does that mean? What's that process like? Learning what?
Yeah, so I in middle school I got into cars. I really liked the way they looked and they sounded. So I
Mm-hmm.
did research with AI. I
Mm-hmm.
had it like tell me like car specifics and like specs. And
Mm-hmm.
then one day I saw like this one modded truck and I thought it was super cool. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, why does it look like that? That's not how they sell the car. And
Mm-hmm.
so I asked AI, it was like, oh, the owner probably did some mods on it. Here's some really common mods for off-roading. And then that's when I realized like AI really can't do everything. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, maybe I can use AI to help me understand cars more.
Hmm. Interesting. So talk to me, how did you even get interested in cars?
And it's like the way they look, there's like some cars that look like really sleek, like a Lamborghini, it's like really low and like
Mm-hmm.
really sleek. Or
Mm-hmm.
like trucks, they're really big and beefy and heavy. And then like the sounds that they make from the engines as well.
Hmm. Interesting. But I guess like, there could be so many things that could have piqued your attention, right? And stuff. Why was
Yeah.
cars those specific things that piqued your attention back then?
They seemed really cool. And also like I was also interested in like racing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so in cars like NASCAR and F1, those
Mm-hmm.
stuff really interested me. And so there were cars that I saw on the streets, and
Mm-hmm.
whenever I heard them, they'd like
Mm-hmm.
remind me of those races like at NASCAR and stuff. And so it was also like it would bring back memories.
Hmm, I see, I see. That's pretty then interesting. Okay, so then talk to me now. Now you've done the games. Now you're 2 games deep. Now you begin to understand AI, using it for cars, doing all of those. What have you done since then with all of that?
Well, right now I'm
Mm-hmm.
using AI for my robotics. We have this season, we have the game is like your robot has 3 balls and it has to
Mm-hmm.
shoot the balls into a hoop
Mm-hmm.
and it has a camera on the front and it has this shooting mechanism and
Mm-hmm.
we're using Java to code our robot right now, and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm using AI to help me like write code for our autonomous code which uses a camera, and
Mm-hmm.
then we also use AI to help us write code for our teleop, which is where we control the robot with our controllers.
Hmm. And but then, like, I think I missed the story about how you got even into robots. Then we were
Oh
into robots,
yes.
and all of that.
Yeah, so I got into it from like the coding side because that's when I got more interested into coding after joining robotics. And
Okay.
also it was like I had some friends joining it as well. I was like, oh, it'll be like a cool like experience to do with my friends. And
Mm-hmm.
also there's like the mechanical side, like building things, like going
Mm-hmm.
back to when I
Mm-hmm.
was interested in like building computers and stuff. I was like, if I didn't get to build a computer, but maybe I can build a robot, see how I like building stuff.
Hmm. I see. I see. So everything basically came back together then. You love to code, or at least
Yeah.
you were coding somehow. You love building stuff. So all of that came into robotics. But I think
Yeah.
I still miss like But did your friend just tell you there's a robotics club and you joined, or how did you join? Even like, how did you even come across robotics?
Yeah, so my high school has a robotics team as well.
Hmm.
Every year my friends are telling me to join, but I'd always like forget to apply on time or turn in the forms on time. This
Hmm.
year, I joined a robotics club outside of my school. They
Hmm.
didn't really have they didn't have like a registration deadline. There's still kids
Hmm.
like joining and leaving. But my friend knew the coach, and so he was like telling me like, oh, you get to build a robot, you can code the robot. There's also like a marketing side to it too if you're interested in that.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, coding and building. I like those two things. Well, let's give it a try.
Interesting. I think you've always told me like you've had like friends, a friend introduced ChatGPT to you, a friend introduced like gaming to you. Was this the same friend or like you've changed a lot of friends from
No,
that?
it's a different friend. Yeah.
Ah, I see. I see. Interesting. Okay, then now you're at the spot where you're doing stuff with robotics and all of that, and you're using AI to like really learn and push all of that, right?
Yeah.
So now the question I have for you is sort of like, what are your thoughts generally about like AI and like the future in general?
Well, I feel like AI, it's becoming more of this thing that people use to do the work for them, and
Hmm.
it's turning into like a tutor or a mentor type of
Hmm.
thing. It's
Hmm.
turning into a tool instead of a like an assistant.
What do you
Like
mean? What is the difference?
like when I what how I used to see people use AI before was it give them like instructions and tell them to do the work for them. Then they
Hmm.
copy and paste the work and turn it in as their own or like
Hmm.
show it to their bosses as their own. Now I
Hmm.
see people using AI to like they write their own essays and then they give it to AI and they tell it to grade it based on the rubric that their teacher has given them. And
Hmm.
then or they'll like if they're coding, they get stuck and they get like a bug, they don't know how to debug it, they'll ask
Hmm.
AI like what the error means and to
Hmm.
locate the bug and help them fix it.
Hmm.
People are stopped using AI to do work for them as much and they're using
Hmm.
it more to help them with their work.
Hmm. Why do you think we have this transition though?
Well, I feel like they're realizing that AI still isn't like at least when they were using it, it
Hmm.
wasn't like sophisticated enough to give them the results they wanted, but they
Hmm.
thought it was because it was a new technology and it was like doing these things that no one thought it could do before.
Hmm. So you think now everybody knows what it can do and stuff, so it's no longer that big hype of what it was. Is that what
Yeah.
I see? Hmm. So then, like, talk to me about like when you hear things about the news about like AI is taking away jobs and people are talking about all of those type of things. What do you think about that, and what is that making you think about like even the jobs you want to do, or sort of what you want to basically do in the future?
Yeah, so I don't think AI is really gonna affect jobs as much. I
Mm-hmm.
think right now people are only saying it, they're like testing it out. It's a test phase. AI
Mm-hmm.
is something new and they want to see like what it can do. So
Mm-hmm.
they're creating like these like I remember a while ago I heard like of this story of this company. They were hiring people to
Mm-hmm.
create AI prompts to do the work so that
Mm-hmm.
they could let go of some employees. But then
Mm-hmm.
they realized that the AI wasn't giving them the results they wanted. So we're
Mm-hmm.
still like in a testing phase of AI in the workplace. So I don't think in the future AI won't like affect us as much.
Hmm, I see. Interesting. So again, like one of the goals of this podcast is for parents to be able to at least listen, and also for other teenagers to also be able to listen. What advice do you have, like as a teen, for like your even your own parents? What do you tell them about AI, and what do you tell your own younger sibling about AI that other people can like pick up from this?
I say like use it as much as you can
Mm-hmm.
without having it do the work for you. Use it as much as you can
Mm-hmm.
after you've done as much as you can.
Hmm.
So you want to do as much of the work as you can before you let AI do the rest for you.
Hmm, I see. So then, like, that is the advice you have for like your younger sibling and stuff. So, but what
Yeah.
advice do you have, like for like parents that are even thinking about like how to tell their kids about AI or how to even talk to their kids about, or just what do you think older people are missing about AI that teenagers basically know about that like older people maybe don't know very much about?
Think older people, I think they see teenagers using AI as something to like cheat their work with and like
Mm-hmm.
take the easy way out.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, most teenagers use AI to help them, not to like do the work for them. It's like I said, it's more of an assistant now instead of, I mean, it's more of a tool instead of like do it for you.
Hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of older people miss.
Hmm.
They don't think it's a tool. They don't see it as a tool.
Hmm. I see. I see. So again, then I think like we're coming up to like the end of like the whole conversation and stuff. Do you have like any questions for me? Anything you even wanted to add to like just this conversation, or basically?
No, no.
Hmm. Okay, I see that. So the last question I have for you, moving on from this, is sort of like based on like this conversation that we've had so far, like what are like your own even like advice even for me now, not just even like anybody else?
I'd say treat AI as like a coach or a tutor,
Mm-hmm.
not something, not like a personal writer or a
Mm-hmm.
personal task like
Mm-hmm.
finisher.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're using AI,
Mm-hmm.
you still want to like keep stuff safe from AI because it does use like data that
Mm-hmm.
as much data as it can. So you be safe with what you're giving the AI.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just trial and error with AI. If you don't like the result that it gives you, you can tell it and it'll
Mm-hmm.
fix it for you.
I see. Wow. Thank you so much, Shazab. I think I really like enjoyed this conversation, and I hope other people listening will also
Yeah.
enjoy it too. Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
Thank you
Jazakumullah.
for having me.
All right. Thank
Jazakallah.
you, Shazab. Wa yakum. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bye.
Bye.